Recently on the Tom Bihn group, we were asked, what bag do you think Tom Bihn should redesign for for their Design Lab series? And if I could say one, it would hands down be the Stowaway. This is by far the most cleverly designed, my favorite Tom Bihn bag. It is an unsung hero. It's retired now, which I think it makes sense, right? This is not a demand. This is not a bag that would be used by a ton of people. But in terms of organization and cleverness and design, this is their most spectacular creation, in my opinion. So let's go through what this bag is. And then I'm going to show you how it compares to the Shadow Guide 23, and I'll explain more about that for a little bit. But first, a bit of background. So I went to Disney for 4 nights recently, and I went on a budget airline, which I've never done before. I went on Frontier, and I was determined to use this for 4 nights. And I did successfully. And I chose this bag specifically because it's within their size limits. I found out that people were boarding the plane with pretty much Aeronaut 45 size bags. So I didn't need to do this to begin with. But I asked Darcy, do you think their Shadow Guide 23s will be ready? I would love to take that and demo it in Orlando. She said, unfortunately, they're not by the time you take your trip. But I said, well, I'll just do the next best thing, which is do a comparison video. Anyway, so let me show you how I packed this bag, but after I go over it a little bit. So first, you have this main compartment here that kind of sits. And this is where I would put a packing cube, which I'll show you in a second. And then this is, again, going back to their clever design. There is a water bottle pocket here that if you wanted to ignore it, you can actually zip this up onto the water bottle pocket and then create two separate pockets, or you can just unzip it and then just sort of flatten it out, and then you have another main compartment. And then you have this, and it's funny because when I got this bag for the first time, I didn't even know this existed. I did not notice this until a couple of times I used it. It was kind of well hidden, but this is a place where there's cache loops, and you can put up to a 13-inch device in here. And for that, of course, I chose my iPad Pro. I did not put it in with a cache. I do not recommend that you do that. There were several times where I put this down and I kind of heard a little clunk because this is just touching the thin material here. Probably would use this with a cache if I were you. But I wanted to save on space because this bag, it may be small, but it can hold so much, and I'll show you what that looks like. And now here's the forbidden compartment, and I call it the forbidden compartment because it actually unzips to give you some really thin, just daylight backpack-esque straps. But these are fine for this bag because you can just, by the time you fill this up, these are going to be just comfortable enough, unless you're like putting bricks in or gold or something, gold bars or something. You can also use this as a pocket, which I tend not to because I want the option of using a backpack strap. Some people I've seen even cut these out because they know that they're just going to use this as a pocket. Thanks, Sam, for those pictures, but that just looks terrible. I'm never going to do that. I'm not a person who alters bags very much. So this is what I packed into it. So I took this packing cube, put it into the main pocket here, zipped it up. So this just had about 2 or 3 extra shirts, an extra pair of pants, right? So then I had my stuff sack. Now where did I put this? I think I just kind of put this right here. So this looks like a tight fit. It's because it is, and it's going to be a tight fit, but you're going to see this ballistic is very forgiving. It's more forgiving than it looks. When you get to this point of filling it up, you actually really need to kind of figuring out your order of operations. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cache or my iPad in here as well. Put that in, zip that up, because by the time you fill this up, it's going to be really hard to get in. And then this, of course, just my spiff kit, toiletry kit, and then my handy little thing. And this just contained all my underwear, socks, and sleep pants. So now I'm going to close this up. It's going to be quite tight, but there you go. And it's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy for what it is. And then I just carried it with the absolute shoulder strap. I did not end up using the backpack function on this trip, but this worked great. And like I said, it's a small bag. It holds a lot, though. And the main reason I don't use this bag for most trips is because I take my laptop with me everywhere. I may get a MacBook Air to kind of shore up that difference. But until I do, this is not going to be a bag that I carry a ton. So, getting back to how this bag, this Stowaway, compares to the Shadow Guide 23. Well, they really don't. They're very different bags. You can't even get this bag anymore. But both are suitable for travel. I love the organization and all the hidden pockets and all the, I didn't even mention these pockets back here, which are really nice. Versus the SG23, Shadow Guide 23, which I mentioned. I asked Darcy, do you think you'll have any ready for my trip to Orlando? She said no. So I said, you know what? I'll do the next best thing. I will show you how I would pack what's in here and here. So this is going to be pretty straightforward. This is more really a video about the Stowaway and how I think it should be a Design Labs bag. But beyond that, I put that in there. And then, oh, can't forget the, see, I even forget about it sometimes, the iPad. So I'll put that over there. And then how would I put all this stuff in here? Well, the SG23 has at least double the liter room that the Stowaway does. So I'm going to put that in here. I'm probably going to put the toiletries and the electronics in here. I probably still wouldn't bring my laptop with me to Disney. I just knew that I wouldn't be able to use it. And sure enough, I didn't. I was kept very busy. If I didn't want to make this part so top heavy, I might move the cords and stuff into here, because I live in St. Louis. It's really not that far of a flight. And I'm going to put this in here and this in here. Now, why I wouldn't have, even if I had this, maybe a reason I wouldn't have chose to bring this with me over the Stowaway is that the more room that you have, the more empty space that you have, the more likely you are to fill it. So I might have overfilled this bag. It turned out that I had just enough stuff. The Stowaway carried what I needed and more, and this would have just been more comfortable to carry throughout the airport, and it would have looked a little bit cooler as well, because I think that I prefer backpacks for travel over bags like the Stowaway. That said, that is pretty much the whole video. Again, Tom Bihn, Darcy, whoever's listening, Design Labs bag. This is a Design Labs bring back. This is the best Tom Bihn bag, that, and as long as I'm thinking about it, these minimalist bags, the Night Flight Travel Duffel. These are my two favorite bags by Tom Bihn. And I would love to see a Design Labs overhaul of this bag, or even just bring it back for a run. And then, of course, the Night Flight Travel Duffel. I'm just a huge fan of minimalist travel in general. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll see about getting to them. But as usual, thanks for watching.